Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, writers and the rest of you. My name is Jennifer Davidson, and on behalf of the board of the Writers Guild of Ireland, I'm delighted to welcome you all to the 13th annual Zebbie Awards. Like everything else this year, this isn't quite the Zebbies we imagined. Usually, at this time of the evening, the Sugar Club would be full of writers, and I'd be probably pacing anxiously somewhere, trying to learn off my speech. This year, we had to reinvent the Zebbies. It definitely won't be the same, but more than ever, we want to celebrate all our members. Back in the mists of time, or March, if we want to be accurate about it, there was a meme doing the rounds on social media about the fact that Shakespeare wrote King Lear in the middle of the Black Plague. Now, I don't know about the rest of you, but I'm not entirely convinced that the middle of a global pandemic is the best time to write your creative masterpiece. Personally, I reckon if you manage to get out of bed more often than not, and if you manage to keep yourself, your family, and your cats fed, you're doing pretty good. Tonight, we're celebrating the best scripts that were produced in 2019. Last year, when I gave this speech, I talked about how much had changed in the past 12 months. 2019, Jennifer, so naive. We all had hopes and dreams for this year. For the Guild, it was our first year with a new director, Hugh Farley. 2020 was going to be the year that we finally got gender equality. It was going to be the year that Galway was the capital of culture, and it was going to be the year that Mayo won the All-Ireland final. Not quite the year that any of us got. Instead, we all had to get used to having meetings on Zoom, to social distancing, roadmaps, rotating Taoiseachs. We said a sad farewell to Red Rock from our screens. Fair City Season 1 came to an unexpected end at Easter. Leo Varadkar seemed to be on a mission to reference as many movies as possible in speeches. Cinemas and theatres closed their doors, and we all wondered when life would ever get back to normal again. No one was prepared for a pandemic, but if anything, I think that this was also the year when, as writers, we got to show the rest of the world what we do best. Who else was already used to working from home? Who else was already used to that seemingly tiny note that lands at 6 p.m. on a Friday evening that actually changes everything and leaves you staring at a blank page, wondering what happens next? While everyone else was scrambling to get used to the new normal, for us at least, we knew the ropes. This year, we've seen how important the arts are to everyone. It's what we turn to for hope, for entertainment, for joy. And tonight we are here to celebrate the very best in script writing. Usually, right now, I'd be warning you that the bar is about to close and bribing you with thoughts of pizza to come. Instead, this year, I'm gonna say pour yourself a glass of your favorite drink. Order yourself a takeaway pizza, other fast food options are available. Tweet us a photo of your writer's chic. Show us where you're watching the Zebbies from and who with. And more than anything, enjoy yourselves. And now, the moment you've all been waiting for. It wouldn't be the Zebbies without him. Your host for this evening, Senator David Norris.
Thank you, Jennifer, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. You're very welcome to the Writers Guild of Ireland 13th Annual Zebbie Awards for New Irish Writing for the stage, screen and radio. It's the first time that we've presented the Zebbie Awards online. So this year, we will all have to imagine the delightful bohemian decadence of the dear old Sugar Club from the respectable comfort of our own homes. The Zebbies are called Zebbies in honour of the late O.Z. Whitehead, affectionately known as Zebbie, the American actor who lived in Dublin from 1963 to 1998. And who for over 30 years generously sponsored the O.Z. Whitehead Award for New Writing. Yes, it is the 13th time that you have gathered, or as it is this year, you've all zoomed in to celebrate the craft of the writer. Well, I have had a wonderful relationship with you all at the Writers Guild of Ireland for as many years. You have made me do the most amazing things, like in my performance as Hamlet and Macbeth, I mean the Scottish play. I fell on my face and died for you in the manner of the great ham actors of old. Or when you had me read a new play by Samuel Beckett on 4 blank pages. That was an enigma wrapped up in a mystery. But you, masters of the blank page, understood every word. I usually say boom boom after a remark like that, but I will restrain myself tonight. There will be less theatricality from me tonight, more a fireside chat. But as always, I offer you my pearls of wisdom and assure you that no expense has been spared in this COVID Zoom time year to ensure that the Zebbies are the smooth gala affair you have come to expect. You will have to supply the gala part yourselves, and imagine that we are in the splendid Rabelaisian atmosphere of the Sugar Club, packed to the rafters with hungry writers, only there for the pizza. And imagine there will be pizza for everyone in the audience. That is a sad reality of this unfortunate pandemic, as we have all to stay at home. I've just realized that 2020 is the year my bin went out more often than I did. And those of us with no servants have had to cook for ourselves. And I've had to cocoon at home here in North Great Georgia Street. I'm a Dubliner, and I love living here. But I, like most Dubliners, have my roots in the bog. My family came from the County Laois. I've lived here all my life and I love it. If you look at it in the European context, Dublin has made an absolutely disproportionate contribution to literature. Yeats, Shaw, Wilde, Joyce, O'Casey, Beckett, Behan, an endless list of brilliant writers have come from Dublin. We have made an extraordinary contribution to 20th century literature. We contributed some of the greatest poetry from Yeats and one of the greatest novels of the 20th century, James Joyce's Ulysses. And he wrote a whole book called Dubliners, a selection of miniature masterpieces about Dublin and Dubliners. I've lived here in North Great George's Street for over 40 years, and I absolutely love it. So we have this city within a city, the Georgian core in between the two canals. Everybody loves that. Think of Noel Purcell's song, "For Dublin can be heaven with coffee at 11 and a stroll in Stephen's Green. There's no need to hurry, there's no need to worry, you're a king and the lady's a queen. Grafton Street's a wonderland, there's magic in the air, there's diamonds in the lady's eyes and gold dust in her hair. And if you don't believe me, come and meet me there in Dublin on a sunny summer morning. Diddly, diddly, diddly on the piano. Yes, wonderful. Enough about me. What about you? I'm once again amazed by what a busy, creative, productive lot you writers have been. Before this COVID thing, New Irish writing for stage, screen and radio had seldom been so vibrant, written by many of you wonderful, creative women and men who are tonight more than ever imprisoned in the questioning, intense, fiery furnace of your imagination and the cold of your dismal garrets. The shilling in the gas meter has run out, but you can't. It's colder outside. There's not enough money and not enough work. And as for work, I was reading The Lancet the other day and came across a snippet of an international debate on work and looking for a job between few eminent surgeons. A British doctor said, "British medicine is so advanced that we cut off a man's liver, put it in another man, and in 6 weeks he's looking for a job." The German doctor said, "That's nothing. In Germany, we took part of a brain and put it in another man, and in 4 weeks he's looking for a job." The Russian doctor said, "Gentlemen, we took half a quart from a man, put it in another's chest, and in 2 weeks he's looking for a job." The American doctor laughed. "You're all well behind us in the States, gentlemen. A few years ago, we took a man with no brain, no heart, and no liver, and made him president. Now the whole country's looking for a job." Times are hard for everyone at present. But joking apart, we are celebrating tonight, so let's get on with it. Let's relax and enjoy ourselves. You are the storytellers, and I'm not telling tales when I tell you again that I think you are all wonderful, all of you. This evening, we're honouring all writers. This is your night. This is the Zebbies. The scripts that made it to the final stage of the Zebbie Awards were nominated by panels of critics, producers, directors, writers, actors, programmers, those in the know in the business and so on, and we thank all of those people for their help and expertise. The 3 scripts that received the most nominations in each category were published on the Guild's website for its members to read and following mature reflection to cast their votes. In television drama, A Family Holiday to Boston is derailed by tragic news. Excitement is at fever pitch for Bill Clinton's arrival in Derry, and an unexpected other woman casts doubts on a blooming romance. In radio drama, a single mother is forced to examine her assumptions about other people. A composer fears for his life in Stalinist Russia. And we learn of the changes a cancer diagnosis brings to a family's life. In theatre, the shortlisted plays range from a celebration of commonality and comradeship in 1980s Belfast to an insight into the experiences of a young man living within the state care system, to a look at political skullduggery in an Ireland that never left the United Kingdom. In short film, there is a hypnotic love story between two women that crosses both time and space. A couple embark on a journey in the middle of a family crisis. And two sisters chat on the phone about an upcoming birthday, but it's not long before tempers flare. In feature film, an uptight daughter is ashamed of her boozy mother for getting pregnant. A happily married, middle-aged couple deal with a troubling medical condition, and a driving instructor has to use her supernatural powers. In continuing drama, two sisters plus two babies and one father add up to some nasty emotional blackmail. A helpless pair smuggling illegal drugs are apprehended, and a violently abusive relationship comes to a head with the victim and the abuser in A&E. So let us begin tonight with the Zebbie Award for Best Television Script. Everything changes so fast now. I mean, with gadgets and technical things which terrify me. I used to think that when I learned to play a VHS tape, that I'd conquered the world of modern technology completely. But nobody uses VHS anymore, or DVDs, or gramophones, or cassettes. Everything is online now, even television. God be with the days of old-fashioned television. The great black and white cyclops in the corner. It was seen by all, but it saw nothing, which is probably just as well. Because if it could see itself now, it would have to endure endless hours of Love Island before screaming, "I'm a celebrity, get me out of here!" In this era of instant and vacuous celebrity, the box, the screen itself, has assumed celebrity status. Now it's in colour, of course, with 24-hour news, most of it bad. And now there are screens everywhere, in your pocket, on your watch, on your wall, shop window, everywhere you look, from platforms all needing content from writers. If Shakespeare were alive today, he'd be writing for television. He'd probably only be on minimum rate with some 22-year-old development executive who never heard of him, sending him contradictory notes from 3 different script editors. Television is a medium that has changed our lives, as the human race now watches more quality drama on television than ever before. And we are not talking about trash here tonight, no siree. We are talking about quality drama for television. And I'm delighted to say that the caliber of the 3 nominated scripts for television drama this year is, as it has been for many years, outstanding, and compares favourably with the best television drama anywhere in the world today. Here are the nominations for the Zebbie Awards Best Television Script 2020. Sharon Horgan's script for Catastrophe Series 4 finale, in which Sharon, Rob and their children go to Boston for a family holiday. They are greeted at the airport by Rob's sister. She tells him that Mia, their mother, has died. With Rob and his sister trying to coordinate the funeral arrangements, Rob and Sharon's relationship grows increasingly tense. Lisa McGee's Derry Girls, The President, final episode, Series 2. As Christmas nears, excitement in Derry is at fever pitch for President Bill Clinton's visit. Having written to Chelsea Clinton, the friends naively plan to spend the day with her, while James gets a surprise and Grandad Joe embarks on a mysterious plan. And in Aisling Beer's series finale of This Way Up, Romance blooms between Anya and Richard, but she's caught off guard when she turns up unexpectedly to find another woman in his house. And now for the Zebbie Award for Best Television Script 2020. An unexpected writer gets an unexpected surprise.
And do you think that you wanted to write, was it firstly you wanted to write about your friends and sort of that story, or Derry, or did they just sort of come at the same time? Was there one push to do one of them more than the other?
I think to be honest, it started with my friends, and because I'd never seen a group of female friends like mine on TV before, and I felt like maybe we weren't, but I felt like my group of friends were really funny at school, and so that's sort of where it started, and then I kind of, through talking to one of our execs on the show, Leslie, and I realised that the world and the 90s in Northern Ireland, the Troubles, was weirdly quite interesting territory for a comedy.
Well, thank God you did, Lisa, because you've just won the Best Script TV Award.
Are you joking?
Won? No. Imagine that. It's such a cruel joke. No, you've won the Zebbie Award.
Are you serious? Is this a thing you do with everybody?
Imagine how much you'd kill me if I was winding you up. I'd be dead.
Oh my God, I can't believe
Congratulations, I'm
that.
delighted for you.
Oh my God. Oh, thank you. Oh, that is so weird.
I feel like no, Michael McIntyre's going to jump out of that door or something, but it's not.
I keep waiting for you to go, nah, only joking.
Wise up.
Get your stuff on. As if, oh, that's lovely. I'm thrilled. That's amazing. Thank you.
Thanks. You're welcome. Oh, I'm delighted for you. Are you well shocked? I was like, she's gonna die of this.
I'm so shocked. Yeah, I sort of don't, yeah. Because I just thought it was a thing where we were just, it's quite crafty, isn't it?
Aye, really crafty.
Yeah.
And the nature of it. So delighted. Hey, and just from your spare room as well, so weird.
I know.
Would you have wore a ball gown if you hadn't known?
I might have done something with the hair, or put
I
more
like it.
makeup
It's sort of it's like a Cinderella updo.
I have like a bit of makeup on, but you probably can't see.
No, it's lovely. It's a natural
put,
good look.
I'd have put loads on.
Flattered at yourself if you were a winner.
Flattered. And I'd have put really impressive books in the background and stuff.
Well, obviously you don't have an award to grab right now, but here's the closest thing I could do. You'll have to collect it at a later date.
The next category is for the Best Short Film Script Award. Ah, yes. Brevity. Less is more. In the 1950s, executives in the film industry were terrified that television would destroy the cinema business. They decided in desperation that they would make everything bigger, louder, and longer. So they made longer films for huge Cinerama and CinemaScope screens with extra loud stereophonic sound. When Jean Cocteau, the great French filmmaker, poet, and playwright, was told that he could use CinemaScope when making his films, he is reported to have said solemnly, "Ah, I shall have to write on bigger sheets of paper," suggesting that bigger is not always better, perhaps. Stan Laurel of the great Laurel and Hardy comedy duo agreed with this when he said, "We should have stayed in the short film category. There is just so much comedy that we can do along a certain line, and then it gets to be unfunny. You've got to settle for a simple, basic story, in our case, and then work out all the comedy that's there, and then let it alone. We didn't want to go into feature films. And yet, some of their best work was done in features, but many of these films were too long. Stan Laurel was well aware that an excellent short film can have more essence than an overlong feature. In recent years, Ireland has excelled in the making of short film. This is truly amazing and miraculous, because these short films are labours of love, ingeniously made to an international standard of technical brilliance for very little money. Hundreds of short films are made and screened in Ireland and internationally every year. Our success in this area is remarkable. Here are this year's nominations for Best Short Film Script Awards. Katie McNeice for In Orbit, which tells us that there was once an invisible optician trapped in a strange and lonely world. Her story starts with a broken lens and the woman who taught her to see things differently. In Tristan Henou's clueless silence, a couple drive to the city to collect their daughter. It's clear they're in the middle of a family crisis. But what exactly is wrong? And how do they cope with the unfolding situation? And in Tracy Martin's script, Sister This, two sisters chat on the phone about an upcoming birthday, but soon promises are broken, secrets are revealed, and tears are shed. Both women soon realize that shame is something neither can afford if they're going to survive. And now, for the Zebbie Award for Best Short Film Script 2020, another unsuspecting writer gets an unexpected surprise.
So it means a lot to me now because it kind of gave me a lot of confidence, and I think the subject matter was something that I had wanted to tackle for a while, and these characters mean a lot to me. There was a lot of people I knew in these characters, and the film seems to have spoke to a lot of people and a lot of messages I've got. So it's very, of all the things I've done, it's the thing that I feel the closest to, and it's the thing that's given me the most confidence and fulfillment that I've ever felt on a project, was definitely working with you guys on that.
And rightly so, yeah, because like I can't think of anybody more deserving than you to be like nominated for this award. I'm so delighted for you, Tristan.
Because when you would have got the script, that was one thing I wanted to say to you, was that when you got the first version of the script, it was the very early draft of it, and it was very bare bones. I remember saying to Olga, I was like, God, I hope she likes it, because it was very, remember it? How minimal it was?
Yeah.
And it wasn't fleshed out, and it was very kind of, I was like, there's not really, it's credit to you that you saw it, and Gary and Ali, when you read it, that you could see beyond just what was on the page, because it was all about the nuances, I think, and what wasn't.
I remember myself and my mom talking about it, and the fact that it was so bare was the draw for the two of us, because it was so simple and it was so it was so beautifully written, even though like I could see it on the screen before I'd even thought about Rebecca as a character, if you get me. So
it was your first short as well, wasn't it?
Huh?
It was your first short.
Yeah, it was.
You went.
Yeah, I'm just, my heart's beating very fast because I've an announcement to tell you. I would like to inform you, Tristan, that you have won the Zebbie Award for the short film category. And I'm so delighted for you.
What?
Yeah.
Oh my God, really?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And asked me to let you know, and I'm so glad to be. My heart has been racing this whole entire interview.
I'm started sweating really profusely.
Really?
Oh my God. Oh my God,
How do you feel?
I feel amazing. I feel like, oh God. You get used to being nominated for things and not winning them. There's been a few times and you kind of get, I was like, oh, but this was one I was really, oh my God, I'm a little bit stunned. That was kind of sneaky. I didn't expect that. Thank you to everyone at the Writers Guild, everyone who voted for this. Thank you so much. This is just, I'm a little bit. That was a sneaky one.
And now we have the Best Feature Film Script Award. Today, everyone is writing screenplays, and there are courses all over the place to help aspiring screenwriters. As long as you wear sunglasses and a leather jacket, you'll look the part. And I'm very glad to say that many of our young writers have blossomed in the current positive environment with the assistance of our state agencies, and in many cases, by their own unaided determination to succeed. Many of our young screenwriters are writing genre films which have sold well on the international market. It's not an easy profession, as getting your script produced is a blessing bestowed on the few. Some have ventured into the shark-infested world of American agency representation, and I'm sure they will appreciate this cautionary tale. An American agent goes ice fishing with his new screenwriter client from Ireland, who has had some success with a horror genre script called Frankenstein, Prince of Darkness, in which the Frankenstein monster morphs into Dracula, who bites the doctor and turns him into a vampire. While they're sitting around a hole in the ice, a hungry polar bear starts charging at them from half a mile away. The agent immediately pulls off his ice boots and starts putting on a pair of tennis sneakers. The terrified writer screams, "Jesus, we're doomed! You can't outrun a polar bear! His top speed is 40 miles an hour!" As the agent starts to run, he shouts over his shoulder, "I don't have to outrun him, I have to outrun you." So be warned, and good luck to you all. The nomination for the Best Feature Film Script Award are A Bump Along the Way by Tess McGowan, which tells how the already fractious relationship of an uptight teenager and her flighty 40-something single mother comes under further strain when the mother gets pregnant after a drunken one-nighter. Will the frost between them begin to thaw? In Ordinary Love by Owen McCafferty, there is an ease to the relationship between Joan and Tom, which comes from spending a lifetime together. When Joan is diagnosed with breast cancer, they are faced with the challenges of what might happen. This is a story about love, survival, and epic questions about life. And in Extraordinary, written by Micah Hearn, Enda Lochman, Maeve Higgins, and Damien Fox, a mostly sweet and lonely Irish driving instructor must use her supernatural talents to save the daughter of Martin, also mostly sweet and lonely, from a washed-up rock star who is using her in a satanic pact to reignite his career. And now for the Zebbie Award for Best Feature Film 2020, another unsuspecting writer gets an unexpected surprise.
We worked really hard on the draft and on the script all the way along, so I guess to get a script nod is a really nice thing. You know, it's a real bonus, especially after working so hard on it.
Absolutely, and of course we should mention Maeve as well, who couldn't join us today. So you guys have been on quite the journey with this project, from sort of when you first had the original idea to its premiere in Galway, and then kind of since then, I mean, obviously it's done really well. What's that whole journey been like?
Fantastic. I think our world premiere was in South by Southwest, which is amazing. That was in March, just before Galway, and that was like the film got into competition there, which is only 10 films do that, which was absolutely nuts. We were kind of felt like we were, you know, there was 9 real films in our film in competition, 9 worthy films, but it was great to get recognized like that, and we were delighted, and we had an amazing kind of bunch. They kind of showed a few times over a week in Austin in Texas, and that was really great. You know, we got.
I think something about that as well that really surprised us is that the Americans got it and non-Irish, because we always felt there's definitely a specific Irish humor going on here, and I don't think we felt it was completely parochial or anything, but we were still surprised that people outside of Ireland have been enjoying it as well, which has been fantastic.
I think there was a sort of that specific kind of thing that you do if you go really hardcore on specifics, it just becomes universal. You see it like, you know, a lot in Australian movies or in any movie really that you enjoy when they're particularly specific. It kind of feels like they just suddenly become more universal to people because they understand it.
Even if things you are missing things and you know you are, but you still sort of have a suspicion that they're in there.
Yeah, especially when you know, we kind of set out to make almost like a live action cartoon, but that one where you kind of fall in love with the characters and you kind of care about them at the end. You know, they're not just these totally broad, wacky kind of characters. You actually kind of go on their emotional journey. And that was sort of our plan.
Unless you do think they're broad, wacky characters, which some people do, I suppose.
Yeah, well, what I'm saying is what we were trying to do, but I guess like that's sort of what we tried to do across the film, and it seemed to, you know, generally be what most people took away from it as well.
Yeah, and I mean, it definitely seems to have worked. You've obviously picked up a number of awards. I'm really excited to tell you that you can add another award to that list. You haven't just been nominated, you've actually won the Zebbie for Best.
Oh, no way. That's amazing. We didn't know we'd find out today. That's so
this is the award ceremony right now. Fantastic.
That's so nice. So thank you very much. Wow, thank you.
You're very welcome.
A good friend of mine reminded me the other day that as a very small boy, he used to listen to the radio when he came home from school. That would have been in the 1950s. In those days, every broadcast was live, and there were children's programs on Radio Éireann every weekday between 5 o'clock and 6. Many of the dramas were historical, and he remembers rushing in from playing football on the road to hear Hannibal crosses the Alps in 30 episodes. It seemed to take Hannibal an awful lot of time to cross the Alps, but he had all those noisy elephants that my friend could see and those rowdy soldiers he could hear with him. How did they get all those animals and peoples into the radio, he often wondered, as he became familiar with the voices of the actors in the radio repertory company that could be heard in other dramas as well. There was a story of the Roman Empire in 30 episodes too, and there was an actor called Charles McCarthy that he used to hate in everything he heard him in, because when he first heard him, he was playing that dreadful fellow Caligula, and never forgave him for many years. Later in his career, Charles McCarthy became a wonderful trade unionist, author, and academician. He was appointed Dean of the Faculty of Economic and Social Studies and became a Fellow of Trinity College Dublin, where I lectured for many years. Yet, whenever my friend heard Charles speak or lecture, he was drawn back to his time in short trousers when Charles played that cruel, evil tyrant, Caligula. He eventually forgave poor Charles for his convincing and terrifying performance, of course. But isn't it amazing and wonderful the power that radio drama can have on a young and not so young mind? Because the best radio writing and acting constantly challenges us, invites us to actively participate in the drama, to feel emotions and weave fascinating memories and images in our mind's eye. The nominations for Best Radio Script are Gillian Grattan's script, Mr. Sun, which takes a wry look at modern life as Mary, a single mother in the suburbs, hides her unhappiness with humour. But she learns that the tedious elderly neighbours that she dismisses turn out to be hiding their unhappiness too in their own shuttered bungalow. Carl O'Neill's script, Facing the Music, imagines one terrifying night in the life of composer Dmitri Shostakovich, who, having fallen out of favour with Stalin, awaits the arrival of secret police who will take him to his death. And Nairi Yevgenhassian's script, You'd Better Sit Down, illustrates with poignancy and humour how different people within the one family attempt to cope with a diagnosis of cancer, and how this challenging event brings the family dynamic sharply into focus. And now for the Zebbie Award for Best Radio Script 2020. Yes, you've guessed it. Another unsuspecting writer gets another unexpected surprise.
Great. And was it always going to be a radio drama? Did you look at it as any other another concept piece or?
Yeah, so it started actually as being potentially a stage piece. And I worked for a little while with different groups of amazing people in kind of workshopping and drafting. So like colleagues of mine like Sean Dunn and you know, other groups of artists that brought it to the stage kind of version level, and we worked it basically in order to kind of draft a script out of it. So that's how we got some of the real funness and lightness is really, you know, down to a lot of what that collective was working with me at the time, you know, introduced. And then I really felt it lent itself really well to radio and brought it to Drama on One, RT Drama on One, and I brought it to Goretti, and who obviously directed our piece for us. And so, and she very patiently worked with me for a long period of time as I figured out how I was going to write this and do it justice, do Sauna's story justice, do you and Helen and Manus, you know, all of us.
And indeed to yourself and your own.
Yeah,
family.
all of us together, you know, because it really is about the buzz between the group as well. I mean, it's rare that you get somebody encouraging you to do overlapping in a radio piece.
Well, true. Well, it really worked out, and you find yourself now up for the Zebbie Award for it, which is Zebbie Award. Fantastic. Really fantastic. It's also been a great week for you, a great start to a week. Your birthday was yesterday. Your partner proposed to you, Pago, and
God love him. Yeah.
So I know. And on behalf of myself, I'd like to wish you congrats, and of course, on behalf of everybody that was involved in the play, we'd like to issue. But there is something else very special that's coming for you right now, because you are nominated for the Zebbie Award for a Best Script in Radio Drama, Nairi, and it gives me great pleasure. Indeed, great pleasure to tell you that because we're doing it this way this year, I've been charged with telling you that you have won. You have won the Best Radio Drama in this year's season.
Stop! I didn't think
I'm
this was a
absolutely
real.
serious with you. I couldn't contain the excitement.
Linda, you're a star. Isn't that brilliant? Well done to you.
Well done to you, and you're a great colleague. You're a great writer, and it's been fantastic working with you along, and I'm so happy to be part of this. So you can imagine the pleasure I have of telling you this now.
Thanks,
Indeed, you have, Nairi Gerkes. You have won the Zebbie Award
so
for Best
good.
Radio
Thank
Drama.
you. Oh my God, that's you. We have to do it like, yeah, I never expected it.
There you go.
Brilliant.
There you go.
Thanks.
At last year's Zebbies, I spoke seriously about the lack of new and original writing emanating from our national theatre, and the continuing controversy about the direction of its artistic policy. I said that currently the Abbey is in turmoil, with 427 members of the artistic community in open revolt against the model of playmaking adopted by the current artistic directors. The Abbey has been in controversy from the start. It has survived riots and protests since its foundation in 1904. The late Tomás McConnell recalled that the complaint has always been that the Abbey was no longer what it once was. Revolt against the Abbey management is nothing new. In the present dispute, the representative panel of the 427 signatures from the artistic community met with the artistic directors of the Abbey, and in the style of the late John Hume, tried to communicate their grievances formally in a spirit of agreement and partnership. One of the main problems they took on was the approach the Abbey was taking to the making of plays by closing down the literary department and replacing it with what they called their New Works department. In this entity, the voice of the writer was much diminished to a committee approach made up of the director, assistant producers, stage designers, and production managers. We all know the old joke about a committee trying to design a horse ending up with a camel. Camels were appearing on the Abbey stage in the last few years. The representative panel complained. adaptations of successful novels and films were favoured instead of original writing with one individual vision, as has been the case at the Abbey from Yeats onwards to Teresa Deevy, Murphy, Carr, Friel and other great writers who have brought Irish drama to the world over many years. The talks were a great disappointment to the artistic community, and the representative panel put the matter in the hands of the Minister for Arts. The Writers' Guild of Ireland then sent a letter to the Abbey in which it conveyed a vote of no confidence in its board for allowing their artistic directors to pursue a policy which was having a devastating effect on the National Theatre and, if persisted with, could lead to its demise. In late July, the following statement was issued to the press. The Abbey Theatre Board announced that we will soon advertise for the posts of Executive Director and Artistic Director. The 5-year contracts will begin next July. In view of the challenges and opportunities in the coming years, and following consideration of its strategy and its leadership requirements for that period, the board has decided that this new leadership structure is in the best interests of the National Theatre. Who knows what will happen now? What will the new leadership be? We are grateful for the great work done by the signatories and the representative panel and are glad that your Writers' Guild was invited to enter the battle to bring this change of direction at the Abbey. We earnestly hope that the primacy of the writer will be reaffirmed at our National Theatre, which has, from its inception, been a writer's theatre. I've got very serious, have I not? Oh yes, the Zebbies, the best theatre script. Here are the nominations for the Best Theatre Script 2020. Dominic Montague's A Queer Cayley at the Marty Forsyth explores the turbulent 1983 National Union of Students Lesbian and Gay Conference at Queen's University Belfast. Just 1 year after the decriminalisation of homosexuality and 2 years after the hunger strike, the events of that weekend are a remarkable chapter in the history's LGBT history. In Fionnuala Kennedy's Removed, a young man called Adam shares his funny, moving and shocking story of social workers, foster homes and his baby brother Joe. The Alternative, by Michael Patrick and Oisin Carney, takes us to an Ireland where Home Rule had passed and there was no war of independence, and the British Prime Minister has returned to her hometown of Dublin to take part in the final debate of the referendum. Should Ireland leave the UK? And now, for the Zebbie Award for Best Theatre Script 2020. Yes, that's right, watch out, as I expect we're about to see another unsuspecting writer get another unsuspected surprise.
How does it feel to be nominated?
Oh my God, it's amazing. I don't know if I've ever been nominated for anything before, so I'm really delighted about it. And I think it's amazing for the play and what the play is about to have that kind of platform. So yeah, it's great.
That's what I wanted to ask you that as well, was how do you think the piece has been received since you started it to where it's gone?
Wow. It started so small. We performed it in the Children's Festival, and that was our kind of testing out an audience to see how they would respond. So obviously it had been in front of the young people, various drafts had been in front of the young people whose lives the play was based on. So the Belfast Children's Festival was the first kind of premiere of the play, and then since then, as you know yourself, it went everywhere thanks to Prime Cut. But we took it to Dublin in the south. We took it to Philadelphia for the iPay Festival. It had a reading in Oslo. And it went somewhere else. Connor, I can't remember what the other place was where you brought it to. Montenegro. So it's been amazing, but I think that the best part of it is that every time it's gone out, we've partnered with a new organisation who kind of work in that field of young people with care experience. So they've seen the value of it, and hopefully they've seen the authenticity in it in telling that story. So I think that's been the best part, that we've got it out to so many people, not just young people in care, but foster parents and social workers and other people working in with those organisations.
Well, it's obviously worked because you've won the award.
What?
You've won the award.
What?
I've been told to say that you've won the award.
Connor, no.
You did. You won.
Connor, oh my God! Why are you telling me this now?
Because that's what they wanted.
Oh my God!
Congratulations.
Thank you. So my daughter's just come in the door and she's really excited as well.
Yeah.
Oh my God! Oh my God! I don't know what to say.
You should be just be proud of yourself. You know,
I'm really speechless. This is terrible for an interview because
no, this is what they want. This is brilliant, and you know, this is like that's how does it feel to win?
Oh my God, it's amazing. I'm really emotional. I don't know why I'm so emotional. Wow.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
that's
you deserve
amazing.
A simple definition of continuing drama is that it is a popular television or radio drama series about the daily lives and emotional problems of a group of people who live in a particular place. The actual titles of long-enduring UK shows, EastEnders, Coronation Street and Emmerdale, bear this out. Here in Ireland, the location is also identified in our titles. We've had Tulkerrow, Glenroe, Red Rock and Rossnaroon and Fair City, which obviously refers to Dublin's Fair City. And in the old days, there was a very popular radio series like The Kennedys of Castle Ross, set in the small provincial Irish town of Castle Ross. From the 1930s, these radio shows were sponsored by soap manufacturers and developed the demeaning nickname of soap operas. Today, continuing drama is a more respectable genre title because modern shows strive to avoid the stock characters and stock situations evident in the early days. There are unfortunately slips back to the old ways sometimes, as when a critic recently wrote about Jeff in Coronation Street, he couldn't be more obviously a creep if he had the word creep tattooed on his forehead and wore a t-shirt with the message, "I am a creep," on it. Well, that doesn't happen very much, as continuing dramas have entertained a loyal audience for many years, as well as providing opportunity, experience and money for Irish writers. In truth, most writers of drama here could not have survived financially without the continuity of work they provide. Much of the writing is process writing, because the characters and setting are usually well established, and the task is to fit in with the flow following on from the writer before as the story unfolds. Sometimes mistakes are made when writers and producers change on long-running shows. Jerry Gallivan was a playwright known in the theatre as the author of historical dramas, and during a lean period, he managed to get a contract to write 30 episodes of The Kennedys of Castle Ross, which was broadcast 5 times a week. The producer said, "After that you're on your own, and if you have a problem, ask the other writers." And As he went out the door, he turned and said, "Oh, Mrs. Kennedy has a son called Brian, and his wife is pregnant." Jerry immediately thought he could get some drama from Brian's wife's pregnancy, and being a man who liked to be precise, he called up a few of the previous writers and asked how long the lady had been pregnant. None of them could remember, and said they were just told that she was pregnant. He checked back through the archive of scripts and discovered that Brian's wife had been pregnant for a year and a half, and no one had noticed, not even the lady playing the part. When he told the producer this, he replied, "Oh well, she'd better have the baby. You'll get a week's episodes out of that." Of course, nothing like that could ever happen on Fair City, Red Rock, or Rosnaroon, or could it? You tell me. The 3 nominations for the Best Continuing Drama Script are Series 24, Episode 35 of Rosnaroon, written by Sinead Ní Nachtan, in which Dee finally tells Katie that she knows her husband Mac is the father of Katie's little boy Jay. Katie says she's going to tell Mac that he is Jay's father. Dee threatens that if she does, she will tell Tig, the formidable and doting grandfather, that Jay is not his grandson. In episode 190 of Cycle 55 of Red Rock, written by Kieran Hayden, young Keith Kiley and Alice Bruton successfully smuggle a suitcase which they think contains drugs past customs, only to be apprehended and questioned by Jono and Rory. They are released without charge, but their troubles are far from over as it emerges Keith has taken the wrong suitcase with him off the boat. And in Fair Cities, Series 30, Episode 195, written by Thomas McLaughlin, Will imprisons and violently attacks Cristiano and flees the scene, promising to call an ambulance. But he is knocked down on the street and stretchered off to hospital himself. And now, for our last Zebbie Award of the year, the Zebbie Award for Best Continuing Drama Script 2020. Can you believe it? Another unsuspecting writer getting another unexpected surprise.
Thomas, last week at Tonal, I never got to congratulate you on your nomination.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, that's so cool. Yeah.
It's so exciting. I know, it's brilliant, isn't it?
Yeah, it's really great. Yeah.
I know, and all of these things that we're all going to have to congratulate each other on because we can't seem to get a pint in a pub, isn't it?
I know, but actually, the tension is very nice. I think it is waiting. To see.
Well,
to see
if
it happens. It happens.
It's a bit of crack, bit of fun. Yeah, racking up drinks. Actually being nominated is just cool. So, regardless, everybody owes me a drink when we're back together.
Well, that is so gracious of you.
Yeah.
But listen, anyway, I won't keep you long. That one, isn't that good?
I love it.
I know. But anyway, Thomas.
Yes.
I would also like to congratulate you on winning the award for Best Continuing. Congratulations!
That's great. That's perfect. Thank you. I'm thrilled. That's fantastic. Thank you. Oh, okay. Well.
Congratulations.
Oh, thank you.
We're in the circus. We are in the circus, darling.
Yeah, you're indeed in the circus. Absolutely.
I'm gonna go in the curtain. Okay, so you're gonna say bye, Thomas. Bye,
Okay, bye.
I like the sound of you wrestling a child to the ground. So tell us.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Well, thank you. This is my wife.
Hey, how you doing?
Okay, yeah, I'm thrilled. I love the Zebbies. I'm so delighted to have the Zebbie. I'm thrilled beyond belief. This is for continuing dramas for Fair City. Sharon, you're a part of the team. You're a part of the team.
Yeah.
We're all part of the team. Okay. Just give me a minute, right? because I was watching this the other night on YouTube. Brazil versus Italy, World Cup final, 1970. Carlos Alberto scored one of the great World Cup goals, right? My memory of it, because I watched it in Belfast when I was a wee boy, was Pele, without looking, rolled it past the Carlos Alberto, steaming up the wing, smacked it into the goal. But I was looking at this on YouTube, started on the left wing with Italy on the ball, Brazilians took it off him, something like 9 of their outfield players and like 14 passes. That's what it took to get Carlos Alberto where he was to score the goal. So, great goal, he gets the glory, team did it. So I'd just like to say, for my teammates in Fair City, thank you all so much. And I'm thrilled, I'm delighted. Thank you.
So we're all a football team?
You're all a football team.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that brings us nearly to the end of our Zebbie Awards ceremony for 2020. It's been a far cry from our usual knees up in the sugar club. At this point, I always give an exhortation, like Shakespeare's Henry V at the Battle of Harfleur, to you all to go once more unto the breach, dear friends, once more. I mean, don't give up. Keep at it, that sort of thing. I remind you that all writers have contemplated the barren tundra of the blank, white, possibly infinite first page, that journey ahead. And all of you have set out on that journey for the territory of the imagination and reached a destination, though perhaps not the one you originally intended. But you got there in the end, so you can make that journey again and again. Why do you do it? God knows, but you can't help it. You are writers. And this is a celebration of writing, and so, of course, of writers. Tonight, you're all winners. As I've said before, tonight, but not just tonight, each and every night between now and next year's celebration, don't forget that. Look around you. Strength in numbers, strength in camaraderie, in your guild, in yourselves, and please, unashamedly, enthusiastically, and deservedly, give yourself a round of applause. That always brings the house down. So it's just as well we can't do that here because it's a very old house. Good night, good night. Parting is such sweet sorrow that I shall say good night till it be morrow. You have to go, but I'm staying here. Good night to you all, good night, and now over to Jennifer.
Thank you, Senator Norris, for hosting again tonight. I'd like to also thank the board of the Writers Guild of Ireland, the Zebbie Committee, the production team, and especially Cliona for all her hard work, and to everyone who helped to put the show on the road tonight. But most of all, I'd like to thank all of you writers. Without you, we wouldn't have awards to give. And actually, without you, we wouldn't have a guild. The last couple of years, I've used this part of the evening to encourage you to celebrate being in the same room as each other, to find strength in this brilliant community of writers, to share stories and battle scars and the collective sense of joy and heartache that comes with this job that we do. Tonight, it's not so easy. At the best of times, writing can be a solitary profession. And this year, it's been all too easy to feel isolated, to feel on our own, apart from all the characters in our heads, of course. So tonight, maybe send a text or a tweet. Pick up the phone. Connect with that writer that you met last year and promised to meet for coffee. Dig out those business cards from the junk drawer in your kitchen. Next year, I hope that we will be back here together in person. But until then, stay connected, stay safe, and stay writing.